As the title of this video says, I need some help. So I bought a collet system for this lathe, a lever collet closer. It's technically for a 10-inch lathe, but it will fit this 13 with a few modifications. But I am missing a couple of key pieces to it, and I'm not exactly sure what they look like or the measurements of them. So if anybody with a 13-inch small bore 13-inch with the 1 7/8" spindle thread and the 1-inch through hole, if any of you guys have a hand lever collet closer system for the 2A collets on your lathe, can you just take a peek at this video? Or anybody with a 10R, the heavy 10 with the small spindle, again 1 7/8" with a 1-inch through hole for the 2A collets. If you have a hand lever collet closer for that, if you guys can just take a quick peek at this video and hopefully give me some of the measurements of the pieces that are missing, that would be awesome. Anybody else that wants to watch it, throw down some suggestions or anything in the comments, and hopefully we can get this mounted to the lathe and get it functioning like it should. Thanks. So this is a 2A collet system for a 10-inch lathe, a heavy 10, or a 10R, the small spindled heavy 10. And I want to adapt it for this 13-inch. It just needs a couple of modifications, but as I said, I am missing a couple of pieces, and we'll go through exactly what I'm missing and how they fit up. So I have everything I need. I got the spindle nose piece. I have the collets, nice selection of collets, and I also have the spindle thread protector, and all that works fine. The one problem I have is with the hand wheel collet closer itself. Number one, this draw tube is too short to fit through the 13-inch lathe. Now I bought this off of Craigslist. I met the man that had it, and he actually watches this show, so if you are watching, not your fault at all. I kind of knew I was going to have to do that. This is all me not doing my own research, nothing to do with you. So what I have to do is I have to extend this by about 8 inches or so. It's not a huge thing. It definitely is doable. Just get an 8-inch piece, recreate the collet threads here, screw it in, recreate the internal collet threads on the other side, and we're done. My problem is we're missing a piece right in here. Okay, and there's a piece that will allow this to interface with the spindle of the lathe. So let's go to the back of the machine and take a peek at how this fits up and exactly what I'm missing. Okay, so here is my little bit of a dilemma. Now, I knew before I even bought this that the arm that mounts the collet closer to the lathe was missing. Not a huge thing. What I didn't realize that was missing is when I put this in place here, I am actually missing a piece right in here. There is a piece that interfaces from this collet closer to the spindle. So I searched high and low on the internet to find pictures of a 13-inch lathe with the 2A collet setup, 2A hand lever collet setup, and I came up empty. So I went and I contacted my Southbend guru. Now this guy sells parts for all these lathes, and he actually used to work for Southbend. He took a day and he looked into it, and what he said is that this uses a replacement spindle gear like the 10-inch lathe does. So in other words, this spindle gear comes off, and a new spindle gear with a collar attached to it sits over this. And the only picture I could find of it, and I don't even think it's for this lathe, I think it's for a 10-inch lathe, is kind of a parts diagram of one of these hand wheel closers. Let me show, or a not even a parts diagram, but a brochure picture of one. So let me show that to you and show you the part in question. Okay, so by that brochure picture, you can kind of see the piece that we're missing, that little gear piece at the end. All right, so now, if any of you guys out there happen to have the small bore 13-inch lathe, which would be the 1 7/8" spindle thread with the 1-inch through hole, if any of you guys out there have that with a lever collet closer, if you guys can give me the measurements of that piece that goes over here, the replacement gear, basically the entire length, the diameter of it, and possibly, if possible, the length from where the spindle ends to where the collar ends, because it's probably going to be a little step in the end of it. And if you have this, I'm assuming you also have the mounting bar, the length of the mounting bar too. I mean, that'd be awesome. Now, since the guy that used to work for Southbend has never even seen one of these, I'm assuming they're few and far between. So now, if any of you guys out there have a small spindled heavy 10, which would be, it's called a 10R. It's basically the heavy 10 with the 1 7/8 spindle thread and a 1-inch through hole. If any of you guys, it takes 2A collets. If any of you guys out there have that with the lever collet closer, if I could get the same measurements, because I'm assuming they're going to be roughly the same, and the only difference in them is going to be the number of teeth in this gear. I mean, at least that's my assumption. So if any of you guys out there with that lathe have this collet closer and have that piece, if I can get the measurements of that too, that would kind of help me out, and we can figure out what's going on. Otherwise, we're basically going to have to re-engineer this, which I'm going to talk to a friend of mine, and worst case scenario, we'll come up with something ourselves. And then, like I said, I need to lengthen the draw tube. And it's not a killer. It's just more of an annoyance, but can be done. So, any of you guys out there have any of that information, please just either draw a quick sketch or write it down and shoot me an email. Email is right down there for you guys. And in the meantime, I'm going to get some stock, and then we'll make some stuff on our next video.